Well, guys, they dropped another trailer. There's a brand new trailer for SnowRunner out now, and we are going to be going in depth and fully analyzing it. So let's go ahead and watch the trailer first, and then we'll tear it apart. Now, this is the trailer in question, the Cargo and Trailers trailer. Now, as we can see right off the bat, we've got a massively long trailer on that truck right there. We've got concrete blocks, slabs, pipes, barrels, all sorts of different loads running around on that flatbed. We've got all sorts of different lumber loads, and we can also see what happens here when you move the weight around on a trailer behind this little four-wheel drive hatchback. Now, also, we can see different loads on the same trailer being hauled around by different vehicles, and that Oshkosh back there was also a really, really nice touch. Now, this trailer is very short and also includes a little bit of rescue mission stuff, but it all goes by very, very, very quickly. So let's go ahead and jump in and tear it all apart, and they also make sure to remind us that it's available on April 28th. Now, that trailer went by very, very, very quickly. It's a very short trailer, but again, I have taken it apart and really am going to go in depth here. So, if you see on the left, we've got what sort of looks like a large pipe. In the middle, we've got metal beams, and then in sort of right next to it, we also have a fuel trailer, followed by barrels, and then some sort of piece of equipment or machinery, and then on the right, we seem to have something that's kind of a little bit more along the lines of a garage trailer that sort of represents the same shipping container idea that we're used to from the previous game in the series, SnowRunner. Now, one of the biggest things that we seem to be seeing throughout this trailer is multiple different types of loads on one trailer. Now, first of all, though, if I could take a minute to appreciate how cool looking this truck is, and then also after that get into what's on the trailer. It looks like we have some boxes or some crates towards the front, and then we have some concrete pipes towards the back. So there's a lot going on that trailer, and they really, really seem to want to be very upfront about the fact that you can have different loads on the same trailer, and that you can also move these loads around depending on where you want to put your weight. So that's a really interesting dynamic, and I'm really interested to see how much that affects the gameplay, because they've all said, you know, all the developers have said that weight will drastically affect your truck's ability to navigate through mud, snow, and other soft terrain. And I think they've really done a good job of highlighting how deeply into that they're going to go by showing in this trailer different loads on different ends of these trailers. Let's not also forget that they showed some really interesting geographical elements in this trailer as well, this being what looks like a dam across a lake. So the fact that we're driving over a dam on a stock map really goes to show right off the bat that they're turning everything up in terms of in-game assets that they've added here, and just like environmental assets, visual assets, everything has been turned up. Now, does the dam represent any new types of missions? I'm not sure, but it definitely looks like it very well could, especially considering the fact that we're carrying what look like beams here, and it really goes to show that we could be involved in a lot more construction than we have been previously in these games. I mean, previously we've only been involved in logging, but it looks as though now that we can be involved in a lot of construction and delivery of construction-based supplies. So that's going to be really cool to help with construction projects within these new maps. Another new load represented here is the concrete blocks, which seem to come in a variety of sizes, and as you can see, they're fastened down by chains. Now, I'm really hoping that those chains are something that we can use to fasten down different types of loads. So it's like, basically, I'm hoping that anytime you have a flatbed, you're able to go ahead and like just actually use those chains to strap down whatever you want to strap down on the back, so it doesn't give you this sort of weird cartoony look of driving around with cargo piled up on a flatbed with nothing holding it down, like no chains or straps to hold it down. So the fact that there's chains on top of those concrete blocks definitely adds to the immersion factor, and I think goes to also turning up the realism another notch. Another new load that we see here is barrels. Now, barrels seem to be something that you can either carry individually on a flatbed truck, or they also seem like you can put different amounts of barrels collectively together on a trailer that's basically pre-existing, that you would drive around while it was empty. And this is also another another combination of loads that I'm not sure what that big cylinder looking thing is, but if anybody knows what that is, let me know in the comment section below, and also let me know what it would be used for in the comment section below, because that one is definitely one that I have questions about. And also, what load are you most excited to carry in SnowRunner so far? Let me know that as well in the comments down below. Another new one that we see here is some larger pipes that are really piled up on this flatbed. I mean, some of these loads come up over the cab, and while that's not uncommon, it definitely seems like it could make you just a wee bit top heavy. So I feel like you're gonna have to be careful with some of these loads if you're traversing some really narrow, tight, cliff edge, you know, mountain roads, because if you end up tipping that load on the side of a, on the side of a mountain, you're not gonna be having a good time. Another one that's actually pretty exciting to me is one of the new wood-based loads, which basically looks like wooden planks that have gone through a little bit of processing. And because they're not hauling raw logs per se, you're actually hauling a load of lumber that's definitely been through at least a couple of rounds of processing to get to this point. So how they're gonna tie that into the contract system, I'm not sure. You might actually be picking them up from a lumber mill rather than delivering raw lumber to a lumber mill to be cut up. So that's another one I'm going to keep an eye on. Now, here's where it's about to get very, very interesting, because they go a little bit more in depth on the weight. So as you can see, we've got a load right up towards the front of the trailer, and it's absolutely demolishing the rear suspension of your vehicle. Now, cutting into the next shot, we see that load shifted all the way to the back of the trailer, effectively trying to lift the back of your vehicle off the ground and completely unloading the rear suspension and effectively giving you no traction at all. Now, in the next shot, we see a load that's a little bit better centered, because you have weight on the front and the rear of the trailer, so the trailer is balanced, but the vehicle in front is still squatted a little bit. And then for the final shot, we have a even heavier load on the trailer, which really demolishes the rear suspension of your vehicle. So I, for one, was really surprised that they allowed this vehicle to pull a trailer of this size, but that, for one, goes to show that they're definitely going to let you get yourself into trouble if you basically want to do so. You can really get yourself into trouble. And also, I just wanted to quickly highlight the fact that this truck actually comes with a Stihl chainsaw on the back. I mean, well, it doesn't come with it, but if you load it at a lumber area, it's a really, really cool touch, and I'm really glad they threw it in the back of this truck. Continuing on, we now see what it could look like with a vehicle pulling a trailer out in the wilderness, out in the world. And this load seems to be somewhat okay for this vehicle. It's definitely weighing it down a lot, though. The next shot definitely looks like a bit of trouble to me, because this thing looks really, really sunk, really, really weighed down. And if you remember from this part of the trailer, this thing was really struggling. I mean, genuinely struggling to get traction, could barely get up the hill. It looks like a bit of a stuck situation to me. And then in the next shot, we see the same trailer behind the Chevy CK1500 with a little bit of mods and a little bit of customization. And this definitely seems to be attacking the hill a lot more aggressively, and it seems to be able to really dig in and get a lot more grip to get up that hill. So with that being said, I definitely think that some experimentation is going to be necessary when the game comes out, to determine which vehicles really are the most capable, and which, especially starting vehicles, are the most capable with that particular trailer. So that's one that we're definitely going to have to dive into more in depth once we get closer to release. This next truck is so freaking cool. It basically looks like a massive Oshkosh, and it pretty much looks like you're towing a large pipe behind you. But I, for one, cannot wait to haul stuff around the frozen wilderness with this thing. I mean, it was one of those vehicles that was just built to be a dedicated workhorse, a dedicated, long-lasting, work-proven machine. And it fits this game, and it fits the premise of this game so well. And I think it's going to be especially special to use in the Alaska region, because I think it's not only is it really going to fit in there, but I think it's going to be one of the best options for that map. Now, I could be wrong. It could be horrible for that map or that region, but only time will tell. These next couple of shots show that rescue scenario from the end of the trailer, and we can see a support truck up at the top attempting to pull this truck with a fuel trailer up a muddy hill. Now, I feel like this is going to be, again, a representation of a lot of the smaller missions that you're going to see in this game. This is most likely, from what we've found out so far, what a lot of the recovery missions are going to look like. You're going to find a truck that's either disabled mechanically or is buried in mud with no real chance of getting out on its own, and you'll have to rescue it with a support vehicle. Now, what I really like about the support vehicle in this shot is you can see that the beacon lights are on, and you can also see that this is actually a new, sort of retro-looking utility attachment on the back of the truck as well. So that's going to be a really interesting set of toys to play around with. And last but not least, we're going to wrap up with a few different shots of, for example, this cab-over 8x8, which has some wood planks in the back of it. We also have another truck that's carrying barrels in the container on the back of the truck, as well as on the trailer. And then finally, we have a 8x8 hauling another 8x8 on a gooseneck trailer. So that, to me, is what some of the is what some of the most exciting and most fun missions are going to look like. But I would love to hear from you guys in the comment section down below about which missions you're most excited about, and if you're more excited about hauling construction equipment, construction supplies, lumber, or other vehicles. Now, if you guys enjoyed this full in-depth analysis of the new Cargo and Trailers trailer for SnowRunner, make sure to hit that like button. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Hit the subscribe button, turn that notification bell on, and I will see you guys in the next one. Talk to you all later, and I hope you all enjoyed.